Welcome to the lecture of ISM. In this lecture, we are going to try the concept of what is the concept of combination of bending stress and direct stress. Okay, now first we are going to discuss what is direct stress and what is bending stress. The word stress, what it mean? It is the ratio of a load per unit area, right? Load upon area, that means how much a load is acting on that particular area. It is a stress. Stress is basically an internal property that is generated inside the material. It is a resisting force due to the external applied load, right? So what is direct stress? Direct stress is comes out in a member due to axial tensile load or a axial compressive load, right? When a beam is subjected to axial tension or axial compression, the member resisted, and in the form of resistance it generate the direct stress, right? And there is a second is bending stress. It is due to the bending movement in that particular structural member. Okay, so the combination of axial load and bending moment, both stress will produce in the case of eccentric loading. Okay, so we are going to discuss about what is the combination of bending and the direct stresses, right? So consider the case of column subjected by a compressive load. Here this is a column, it is subjected to a compressive load. Here P load, it is a compressive, right? It try to compress this member acting along the axis of the column. It is the axis of the column. It is acting along this particular axis of the column. It is shown in a figure A. This load will cause a direct compressive stress. It is produce a direct compressive stress whose intensity is equals to sigma direct is equals to stress due to direct, right? That means direct stress is equals to load upon area is equals to P upon A. Now consider the case of a column subjected to a compressive load P whose line of action is at a distance of E. That means now we consider our case in figure B, in which this is the axis of the column, right? This represent the axis of the column, but the load P is acting from the distance E of the axis of the column. That means here the load is not in the direct of the axis of column. The line of action of the load is at distance E. Here E is known as eccentricity. That means how much the load is deviated from the axis of the column. Okay, that means the line of the action is deviated from the axis of the column is E. It may be column or it may be any structural member, right? So compressive load P whose line of action at a distance E, it is a compressive load, its line of action is at a distance of E. Axis of the column as shown in figure B, it is shown in figure B. Here E is known as, what is E is known as eccentricity of the load, right? It is known as eccentricity of the load. The eccentric load will cause direct stress and bending stress. Due to this eccentricity, both stress will come into the picture, direct stress as well as the bending stress. How bending stress is come into the picture? Let's discuss below. This is proved as, let us consider a case of figures. Here the figure C, here this is a figure B, in which there is a load at the eccentricity E, right? The line of action of the load is at the eccentricity E from the axis of the column. This is the axis of the column. Okay, so we have applied along the axis of the column two equal and opposite forces. This is our figure C. So what he says, we have applied two equal and opposite force P along the axis of column. This is the axis of the column, and applied two and equal forces. Two forces and equal forces, opposite forces, equal and opposite. So equal, that means P and P, right? And opposite direction, that means it. So like we apply, and it is our original force P here, that means here P, it means at a eccentricity of E, okay, at E distance from here. So how much total force we have? 1, 2 and then 3, right? The 3 forces acting now on a column, 3 force acted on a column, right? Now in figure E, one of the force is shown in figure D. It is a figure ABC, this is D, and it is figure E, okay. One of the force is shown in figure D and the other force is shown in figure E. So we separate our force. First of all, we write down this force. We applied this P force here. Ultimately what we are doing, in figure C there's 3 force and we split into the direct stress and bending stress, okay. So what is the direct? We split our force P here, right? And the another remaining 2 force we are applying here, like that, P here and P here. The distance between 2 is E. So we split the figure C into the 2 figures, figure D and figure E, okay. The force shown in figure D is acting along the axis. The force here in figure D along the axis of the column, we applied this force along the axis of the column, and hence force will produce the, what it produce direct stress, because it is acting at the axis of the column, it produces direct stress. What is the value of the direct stress? Sigma D equals to, it is very simple, P by A, that means load upon area. What he say next? The force shown in figure E, will form a couple, right? This force and this force, what it forms? It forms a couple, right? And this couple is clockwise direction. What it shows, like that, there's a two equal magnitude force and it forms a couple like that, okay. And this couple is a clockwise direction. This is known as couple when the two forces acting like that at some distance. And how we can find out the magnitude of the couple? M equals to one load and the distance between the two load, P into E, right? So this is a magnitude of the moment. So the force shown in figure E will form a couple. It is a couple whose movement will be equal to P into E, right? This couple will produce a bending stress. So what it produce? It produce a bending stress, that means sigma B, okay. And what is the value of bending stress? You know the bending formula, M upon I, that means flexure equation or a bending equation. M upon I equals to sigma upon Y and is equals to E upon R. So we don't need M upon E upon R, so that's why we leave it. So by these two terms we can find out the our bending stress. So what sigma represent here? Sigma represent here bending stress. So sigma bending, sigma B is equals to M I into Y, right? So this is a bending stress value. So what is the value of M here? P into E, okay. So this will give our bending stress. So ultimately what we are doing, we are proving that if there is an eccentric load, so it will produce two stresses, bending stress, direct stress as well as bending stress, okay. How we prove it? We apply the two equal opposite force of V magnitude, because these are cancelled out, there is no value, and we separated this force and these two force, and we see that this first force will produce direct stress and this couple force will bending stress, right? So hence an eccentric load will produce eccentric load, that means the load which is acting, whose line of action of the load is at some distance from the axis of the beam or axis of the structural member, right, will produce an direct stress as well as a bending stress. That means eccentric load produce both direct stress as well as bending stress. By adding these two stresses algebraically, a single resultant stress can be obtained. By adding these two stress, sigma D and sigma B, we can find out a resultant stress. Okay. So in this lecture, it is enough. In next lecture, we continue this topic. Okay. Thank you so much.